What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to yet another episode for the CB450 build series. And today, I have arrived to a huge load of packages, final major purchases for us to get over the hump and start seeing the home stretch of this build. So without further ado, roll the intro and let's get right into this checklist video. So I went ahead and purchased all of the rest of the electrical components, some of the front end components, and tomorrow I will be going to Sean over at the Motorworks to pick up all the rest of the parts that he is helping sponsor with the build. Super excited to show you guys the whole wide array of parts from his store. They're incredible quality, and I cannot wait to finally show you guys in front of the camera what we've been developing behind the scenes. So I'm going to go ahead and unbox each and every single one of these, account for what it is in those boxes, and kind of go from there. All right, we'll start with the simple things. Amazon, let's see what we got here. Oh, great. So this is a tool to compress and service my GSXR front forks that I will be putting new seals on, doing like a little rebuild on those. Moving on to a little bit of USPS action. Oh, these are brand new coil packs for the 450. So great, great addition right here. Great addition. All right, we'll dive into this Cognito box. This is the only package that I have bought from Cognito for this build, which, you know, love the guys over there and always love to support them, but feels pretty good to not be giving them all the business for all the common parts for these conversions and whatnot, and rather upgrading to, you know, full in-house custom components like the triple tree, the front hub, rear foot pegs, things like that. Oh, great. All right, so what you see here, CB450 rear set brackets. Now, I didn't want to go the welding route. I like the bolt-on route, and I didn't really have the means to make my own brackets, so I just went ahead and picked up a set of these, decently priced, high quality. I've used them on the 750, obviously 750 version, but I'm actually very happy that I went with them. So we'll see what the compatibility with the rear sets from the Motorworks. Hopefully it works. If not, we might have to modify the pegs or this to make it work. So not worried about it. But there we are. Moving on, a little bit more Amazon. Now these packages look like they are for the 750. And when I say the 750, I mean the belly pan. As you know, a lot of you have been waiting or on a list or been hearing me mention, you know, me designing my own belly pan for you all as a reproduction. These are some components that I'm going to test out to try this system. If this doesn't work, I have an idea for fully aluminum brackets. So that's in the process. I'm 3D printing some versions right now to see if it's going to work. And in the meantime, yes. Now, I always love these days. I never film these days, and this is new to me. I don't really like to show all this stuff, but it's on the bike anyway, so might as well show it and bring you guys along for the journey. Because why not? I like it, so I'm sure some of you might like it. Here is, damn, talk about girth. Here is the hydraulic clutch assembly. And let me tell you, this thing is in mint condition. Now, some of you may or may not know, but for this CB450 build, I am doing a hydraulic clutch conversion with the help from Sean over at the Motorworks. He's done them on the CB350 twins or 360 twins, and it's not much different on the 450, just slight different dimensions in the bolt pattern and whatnot. In the clearances. So we're in the process of implementing that, but I had to go ahead and get a hydraulic clutch, which was an expense I didn't necessarily want to do. However, I found a way to do it feasibly, if that makes sense. They're going to match. My whole thing was I want them to match in the front, so we're going to achieve that. And by the way, sourced from eBay, used of course, but I went with the newer year models of damaged bikes, and this thing is like basically brand new. So I was trying to avoid the process of having to like rebuild the pistons and whatnot. So big, big, big. Very excited to finally see that in person. Oh, this is a Charlie Place electronic ignition for the CB450. Through Sean over at the Motorworks, he's been developing an M-unit alternative that has benefits in its own ways compared to the M unit, and ultimately, is a better version of the M unit minus the Bluetooth. And I've been trying to figure out, part of the electrical conversation since I have this in my hand. In conjunction with that, the whole bike will obviously be rewired. Based off my experience with the 750 and putting on an electronic ignition, it's pretty much a set and forget type of thing, and it's always going to be precise. So I went ahead and used the same methodology for the 450, went with M unit alternative from Sean, fully rewired, and then we'll do the regulator rectifier, which is in this box right here, Rick's, obviously, and then the electronic ignition upgrade, which I'm very pumped about, and I upgraded the coils, so we shouldn't have any charging issues there. I tested my stator, it's in good shape, so we'll see what happens. I know the charging systems are very poor on these 450s compared to like a 750 or 550, but I don't see it being a crazy issue. Until we get there, we won't know. That's kind of how I roll with things. I pre-plan as much as I can, but then at some point you just gotta do it and see what happens. So that's kind of where I'm at. There's not too many forums on this subject for the 450. I just used my knowledge, made my phone calls, leveraged my resources, and figured out the best possible solution and route to go, and that's this. So as you can see, here's a Rick's Reg Rec. Nothing crazy. Great products, always reliable, and fast shipping. All right, moving on. This is going to be the master cylinder, I bet. I believe the hydraulic clutch is off of a Ninja or a ZX something R, I don't know. And this is from a GSXR. They're both black though, so I was like, you know what, doesn't matter. Mint. Look at that. Beautiful. Little scuff on the end there, but we'll touch it up. Oh, great stuff. Great stuff. I have been bringing up the Motorworks many times, and some of you may know, and most of you probably don't know, but Sean over at the Motorworks is a local bike builder and manufacturer to where I'm from in upstate New York, and he wanted to work with me and sponsor a portion of the 450 build. So right off the bat, huge thanks to Sean. I'm not gonna lie, I think it's fair to say that this build would not be progressing as quick as it is, nor be what it's going to turn into without his help. So thank you, Sean. And I just wanted to go through each and every item that he offers and will be offering soon in the future. Most of this stuff is all final parts and quality and finish, but there are a couple things that are still yet to be on his site and finalized. All right, guys, so before we jump into the full nitty and gritty, I wanted to quick run through all the parts that Sean over at the Motorworks has to offer and what I will be running on the 450 build. It starts with 2 front, 2 rear blinkers, very bright, up to like 1.5 miles of visibility, 2 push button controls, 3 push button controls. I'll be running his rear sets, foldable in this case, the RFID lock, 1 set of quad axis bar end mirrors, and then his clip-ons and carbon headlight and front fender kit. Now before I get into this whole unboxing episode, I want everyone to know something. Each and every single piece and item that I will be showing you is designed and manufactured in-house in the USA in Rochester, New York. So right off the bat, super cool, super high quality, awesome to be buying things and affiliated with a US-made company that will be decking out the bike. So now that we've kind of established all of the pieces that we will be running, I want you to know that there are a couple things that are still not quite on his website as of yet. Nearing the home stretch of everything that I will be talking about and featuring on the bike, we're nearing the home stretch of all those parts being finalized. Let's start with those. One of which is the carbon headlight. Now, the carbon headlight is injection molded on the back, so it's very rigid. And don't mind that jamming around. There's just two nuts in the back there. And then you have the standard, very high, bright LED front headlight and carbon back, which is pretty awesome. It's a great way to feature a bit of carbon, but this is something that is not quite on his site yet, which will be releasing soon. I would test it for you, however, I just don't have everything set up for that. Before I go into the full in-depth unboxing, I want everyone to know that as these parts are implemented on the bike, I will go through full tutorials, how to use, the experience, quality, and the ease of use. I'll go through all of that when the time matters, but right now I only have the ability to do a nice unboxing video, which I thought would be pretty cool, and bring you guys a little bit of inspiration for maybe your builds as well. So moving on from the headlight, I'm going to move you to the second thing that is not quite on the website yet or finalized, but nearing the home stretch. And that is the M-unit alternative that he has not quite named yet, but we're thinking Moto Controller. And essentially, you have an M-unit, you have all your turn, left, right. The casing is not final. He's still working on the manufacturing side of things to make it more precise and the final design. So this is just a prototype for the purpose of me putting things together on the build so I can test and wire everything up. So that's super cool. We're very excited to, and Sean especially is very excited to release this soon. But keep this in your mind, in the back of your head when you are deciding to go buy that electrical unit in the future. This thing is absolutely rad, and there are massive benefits compared to the M unit. We'll get into those when the time matters, but just know that there is something really unique and real cool coming as an alternative for the wiring harness, and super excited to release that to you guys. The third thing that is not on the website, nor finally developed yet, is the front fender kit. Now, this front fender kit is awesome because this will directly bolt up to the GSXR front forks, and this boom acts as a housing for this. I love it. Cannot wait to shape this up and mount it to the front end. It's really cool to finally be able to feature parts and parts of the build that are not so mainstream, if that makes sense. Not so much mainstream parts, and I'm really excited about this whole process and showing you guys all these parts. Next are the clip-ons. These clip-ons are unique in the way they're designed because they do have a slight kickback here. That allows you to have a 270-degree rotation to play with your ride style. You could be more forward, more down, more back, totally up to you. I thoroughly enjoy these more than just a standard straight clip-on because of that feature. Honestly, I didn't even know these were possible until he showed me, and I was like, dang, those are awesome. I need a pair. I want to run a pair, and cannot wait to show you guys the actual freedom that these things provide you once they're mounted on the bike. So, moving on, we have the quad axis mirrors. Everything comes in beautiful packaging, boom. Okay, you see this, and then you open it up. Here is the quad axis mirror. Great quality, finish, the reflectiveness, awesome. They move in 4 directions, that's why they're quad axis mirrors. Very versatile for the bar ends and for those tight spaces on the CAFÉ racers. And honestly, this doesn't have to be a CAFÉ racer mirror. It can be pretty much run on anything, just has to be on the end of the bars. Moving on to the rear sets, we'll get into that. These are universal to any application or bracket. These ones are the foldable ones, not yet on the website, but soon will be. Mount up like this, boom, fold up, boom. So you can see there's a little bit of the design. Very light, very thin. Here's the front portion, boom. One thing I want to note about Sean and these products is he's very meticulous in his efforts to produce very high quality parts every single time, very functional parts every single time, and that's what we see here. As you can see, there's the box. Each and every item comes in these beautifully packaged boxes. Moving on to the RFID Lock, which is known from Moto Gadget, as everyone knows. Now, I have an M lock on my CB750, and I despise it, mainly due to the mounting point. Let's show you Sean's mounting point. He provides you with a beautiful, thick threading, if you can see that. So, right off the bat, you have a way more sturdy way to mount your RFID lock. Functions very similar to the M lock, just the way it mounts it completely changes the game of these. But eventually, once I apply all this stuff to the actual function and working order on the bike, I'll go through it all, show you how it works, show you guys the design of everything and way it functions. But in the meantime, I'm just, like I said, doing a fun little unboxing, nothing special, and just was so excited to receive all this stuff and couldn't wait to kind of share it with you all for your builds. If you're in the market of purchasing parts, it's just nice. It's nice. It's good quality, made in the USA, great stuff. Fast shipping, good service, locally sourced, so all good stuff. Moving on to the infamous Motorworks Speedometer. Now, let me show you this whole unbox process, okay? Boom. There's the box. Okay? And you open it up. All cut out properly. And there is the speedometer. This thing is an absolute beast. So you got tachometer and the digital interface on the bottom. And then also you have your brights, hazards, oil, and neutral lights up top there. Very precise, very easy to use, and very thrilled to be running this styled speedometer on my bike. I am on the 750. I have the Motoscope Mini from Moto Gadget. Although it's cool, and although it's digital and it's got that nice flare, touch, whatever you want to call it. It's not very. It's very small, and it's not the best. I don't really like the analog look of the dials or of the screen, but it was more of, at the time, that's all I knew. And after seeing this and touching it, cannot wait to actually put it into use. But that's fully available on his site, I believe. And here are the Motorworks blinkers. These are just blinkers, solely blinkers, no brake light integrated in them. However, they're very bright. Moving on are the push button controls. There are 100 different style push buttons out there on the market. I used purpose-built Moto push buttons on the 750. I know Moto Gadget has push buttons, and among other, Revival and probably 100 other Motone. I haven't felt a push button assembly that is of quality than these. Of course, you can only do so much with a push button control to set yourself apart, but the sheer weight is of massive quality. Each button, listen, can you hear that? Oh, just sounds so nice. The buttons are great. The finish is even better. Look at these. They're beautiful. We'll be rocking 2 of these in the front, 6 total buttons. Guys, I know that was very simple, straightforward, nothing to it type of episode. Again, like I said in the last few odd videos, I'm just trying to put content out, and I'm trying to give you guys a level of knowledge and experience of the process that not many people give. It's usually just, the glory things, and frankly, a lot of the times it's not, and those moments are what kind of define the build and define the process, and usually most times go unseen. So it's pretty cool to kind of be bringing you along with the full journey, not just the building journey. It's really a mental journey as well. And in addition to that, very proud to announce the partnership and affiliation with the Motorworks. If you guys would mind, give a check out on his site, which will be linked below to all these goodies. And if you're interested in something that is not listed on his website, but is something I went through in this episode, shoot me a DM or just go directly to Sean over at the Motorworks. Mention that I sent you guys over, and hopefully we'll hook you up with something. Since I'm in kind of a standstill at the moment, as you can see, the bike and the engine are kind of sitting on the bike lift, but I just wanted to bring content to you guys, and I thought it would be a cool level of feel if I were to bring you on the tripod every once in a while and sort of walk you through the thought process that I go through for this whole process. So it's very intriguing, it's tough, it's fun, but that's what it's all about. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little episode of going through all of the Motorworks parts and gadgets. I'm very, 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 very proud to be partnered up with a great brand that makes and manufactures great highest quality parts in the USA, all in-house, locally sourced to where I'm from. Very thankful for that opportunity, and I cannot wait to demonstrate all these parts further once the bike is in the assembly phase. All right, guys, so now that we have went through a little bit of the unboxing, let's bring you to a little checklist of what really needs to start being done on this 450 to make some good headway closer to getting over that peak. I know I keep saying that, but what I mean by peak is there's a threshold between the process of building a bike where you're going up, you're making progress, but it's all that dirty progress. It's that like progress that you don't really love to do. And you get to the peak, start to get over the hump is when you start to get things painted, things are starting to be assembled, things like that. And I'm like just about to go on the top of the peak and just over the peak. And what I need done to be able to achieve that little extra progression is I have a list, CB450 to-do list. I need to grind and smooth the welds on the frame, especially the frame rails, smooth them out, because if you don't smooth out the frame rails and you have those little gullies from the angle grinder or something of that nature, the powder coat you'll see it in the light. And personally, my whole goal for this build is to really up the craftsmanship of things. So that's one of those little details for my own personal mind that I hopefully take care of the best I can. Next, weld 2 exhaust tabs for the back. I have to weld in the battery holders for the battery that's going to sit under the cowl. I need to weld in a plate for the regular rectifier and figure out where that's going to go. I need to finish modifying the electrical tray to make it to the standard that I want it to be at. I need to clean the tank and eventually paint it, but that's not really in the near future here. I need to make a seat pan and weld anything necessary for that. What does that mean? So I haven't decided if I want to go fiberglass or metal. For the 750, I went with metal. Now, the thing is, I don't have metal tools. Someone helped me out with that, getting that nice arch in the back for the cup of the cowl. That was done by like an English wheel, but I don't have one of those, so I was thinking, due to time and constraints, laying down some fiberglass might be my best option. We're still playing with that idea, but that's one of those things that I have to decide on. And then moving on, I have to install the rear blinkers and figure out where I'm going to do that. I have to buy a slab of walnut to get the cowl underway and starting to be made. And then finally that pretty much completes the chassis. And that's the whole idea. I want to get the chassis all completed or as close as possible as I can to completion. So when I leave, I can drop it off the powder coat, and when I come back, I have a freshly powder coated frame so I can start putting things back on. Furthermore, I have to paint rotors, resurface the rotors. I have to get the calipers rebuilt and painted. I have to paint the rear drum and put new drum brake shoes in. I have to rebuild, well, okay, this is also a little struggle of mine of contemplating whether I should or shouldn't. This engine only had about 7,000 or 8,000 miles, or 9 when I pulled it. Sub 10, let's put it. And it ran great. I just never went through a maintenance haul. However, I bought everything to do a top end refresh. I don't know if it's smart to do or not. I'm going to take a quick look at the engine once more and make sure, see if there was any oil leaks that I don't remember or anything of that nature, because I have all the gaskets. Might as well. So anyways, what I'm getting at, I need to pull the engine and decide if I'm going to do a top end refresh or not. Otherwise, I will get it all painted, clean, prepped, and ready to go. And the engine doesn't really need much. Doing a top end rebuild would just be more of why not type of thing. I don't know. I haven't decided on that. But really, in a nutshell, that's mostly everything. It sounds like a lot. It is a lot. But if I was here, it's really not a lot. So it's kind of juggling between the time I have, what's able to be done most efficiently, where I'm spending time on something and things are actually getting done rather than spending time and hitting a wall. So, of course, hitting a wall is inevitable, if you will, but surfacing rotors, painting rotors, you're not going to hit a wall. Doing the brake shoe, you're not going to hit a wall. Grinding down the tabs and welds, that you're not going to hit a wall. So you get my point. I'm rambling at this point, but this episode is really just based on inventory, where I have to be, the position of where the build progress is in orientation to what I call like the mountain climb and the apex, that whole thing, and getting over the hump. We're close. We're not quite at the hump yet, but I think between this break and I'll be home in the next few weeks as well, I think we can really get over that hurdle, and by the end of the summer, for sure, have this thing fully done, riding, running, ripping, and for us to enjoy. So I know this is, again, is not a episode that you're used to so far with this build series, but I'm doing what I can. I want to get episodes out. I'm not gonna dwell on the type of episode. I think this is very valuable content for you all, because also for me, because not all the times do you see the thought process of people's process. So for me, it's very valuable to hear myself say it out loud, and also I think it could help you all sort of come up with your own thought process of how to build your bike best for you and your skill set. And I'm going to start implementing that a little bit more in these build series. Just kind of doing a recap episode of where we're at, the process, my thought process of things, how I kind of think ahead, and yeah. And remember, at milezero.racers, we're one team, one family. To the baddest crew out there, thanks for being dope, each and every single one of you. If you have any questions at all, hit my line, hit my DMs, or hit something in the comments. If you guys wouldn't mind, like and give this video a thumbs up, and potentially subscribe to the channel to see the final outcome of this bike that we are building now, which is a 1975 CB450 CAFÉ RACER. We're doing a monoshock conversion, front end conversion, ton of custom parts, fabrication. It's going to be a flavor that we have not seen yet on the 450 chassis, which I'm extremely proud and excited to bring you guys. But yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.